How's it going, guys? Rhino here, otherwise known as AoE Only for the Win, and I'm here to bring you another tutorial. This one is a very simple one. It is Deadmines boost. It's a really good way to boost other people. It's what I use to boost alternate characters. So my tunes on my secondary account, I would use this mage to boost them. Then I got a mage on my secondary account to 60, so I could boost characters on this account. It's really helpful for getting people from level 10 to 20, so you can get them onto the Stockades boost. Very simple boost. Real quick disclaimer, I want to apologize. It's been a while since I've uploaded any tutorials. It's been a while since I've been actively streaming. I've been going through some stuff, been dealing with some stuff, as well as in game I've been working on developing this mage as well as a second mage on my other account to get them geared up enough to actually learn the strat boost with just my account. So essentially using two mages by myself to do the strat boost. It's a really long and tedious process to get geared enough for that. And so I haven't gotten to that point yet, but that's why I haven't been active in a while. I apologize. I'm hoping to get more active on YouTube as well as Twitch here shortly. But yeah, so this is a very simple tutorial, and I want to be clear that there are many ways to do this. There is a one pull tutorial that you're able to do. I haven't been able to get it to work. It's pretty challenging from what I see, and it really doesn't save a whole heck of a lot of time, especially when you're dealing with lockouts. What's really good about this run here that I do is I get a 13-minute run here. Typically I'm averaging about 11 to 12 minutes. It's a little slower because I'm leveling two level 10s here, and they happen to be sitting close enough that they're aggroing extra mobs, which is making me a little, it slows me down a little bit. You'll see it during the run, and you'll see it kind of towards the end as well. Could have been a lot quicker, but it's really precise runs, really easy to do. You don't need amazing gear at all. My gear is halfway decent on this tune, but you really can do this in greens if you have just some stamina, some intellect, and some spirit. And then when it comes to your talents, I'm running the AoE spec. You really just need some sort of frost spec is what I recommend. It's not even required. You could just figure out a way to do this slower, but these are my talents. I have two frost specs. This is my AoE frost spec. Not really necessary which one is which here because, again, it's Deadmines. It's super easy. It's super straightforward. Really, my biggest tip here that I can give that will actually make a difference is either utilizing, so you'll notice here I have my rank 1 Arcane Explosion and my max rank Arcane Explosion binded to 7 and 8. I have that on my mouse here, so I can press 7 or 8 on my mouse, and that's really important for the run. But you can also use macros to I can't remember exactly what it's called, but essentially use one macro for rank 1 and the same macro for max rank, so that way you can use the same button, but you just use a modifier to do it. You can do that too, but essentially you're going to want rank 1 Arcane Explosion and max rank Arcane Explosion, and for certain parts it'll be helpful to have your rank 1 Fire Blast as well, but I'll point that out as we go. Again, this is really simple. There's a million ways to do this. If you want to do it a different way, that's totally fine. And it's not going to be hard for you to learn. I don't think I've ever died doing this. I've come close just because I was testing out some extra stuff, but it's going to be really easy for you, trust me. So let's get into this. One thing to note here before we get into it, you're going to want to let anybody you're boosting know that they can sit near the entrance for a little bit, but they're not going to want to sit near the entrance the whole time because they're going to miss out on experience. But they're also not going to want to stay too close, because if they stay close to you, they're going to be aggroing mobs, which is going to either kill them or it's going to slow down the process. So they have to kind of find that balance. Typically, what I recommend is each of these is considered a room. So this is one room that I'm in right here. Then I walk through and I go into another room, and then I walk through into another room where the boss is. I recommend that they stay at the entrance to the room that I'm in. So as soon as I get into the second room, you'll see here shortly, that's when they should start moving up. They can start looting anything that's died, and then they stay at the entrance to the second room until I move into the boss. Once I'm in the boss room, then they move up to that room, and so on and so forth. That's how I've found to be the most successful, but it's really hard to kind of convey that. So just kind of giving you a heads up about that. And again, minimum level for this is level 10. You can boost people all the way up to 25, I think even higher than that if you want. I like giving out these boosts for free. I've never charged for a Deadmines boost just because I like helping people out. I like giving them some free experience. But if you want to charge for these, you probably can. I've seen people selling 5 to 8G per run. Not fantastic. That's what, 20 gold per run, and you're looking at probably 4 runs an hour, so you could get up to like 80 gold if you wanted to, but I don't know. I don't like doing that personally, so you can figure that out on your own. But heading into this, basically what I do is make sure I have my ice armor on, arcane intellect, food, water, and my gems in case I need them. I didn't need my gems this run. Put on my ice barrier, and then you're just going to see me using rank 1 arcane explosions, pulling all of the mobs. This is to not only pull the mobs, but to damage them, so that way they're aggro to me in case somebody else needs to heal. It doesn't pull all the mobs away. But also, I'm fishing for clear casts. So I have a weak aura set up, as well as floating text set up to let me know when I have clear casting. And then when I do get clear casting, that's when I use a max rank. So I keep spamming rank 1. As soon as I get a clear cast, I cast a max rank. That way I'm doing some extra damage, killing some of the mobs earlier on, gives them a chance to loot. But you'll just kind of see this path that I'm following. It's not super precise. There's probably better ways to do this, but this is how I've liked to do it, kind of cutting to the left here in this room, and then moving across to the right, pulling everything, going off into the back. And again, it really just depends on your RNG with clear casting. I have gotten a ton of clear cast procs before, so I killed all of the mobs before I even got to the boss. Other times there's quite a few alive. It really depends, and it's not going to really matter. This boss is not challenging at all. The only issue that I've ever run into at this point is sometimes being low out on mana when I'm killing the boss. So what I do is I try to do single target attacks on the boss, so max rank Fire Blast, Cone of Cold, which isn't single target, but close enough. And I try to avoid doing max rank arcane explosions here because it doesn't do a ton of damage to the boss. But single target Frostbolt. Unfortunately, I didn't see his fire protection there, and so I fire blasted and was resisted. But nevertheless, still very easy. Clean up the last mobs here, and that is the first section done. Now, you also don't want your party members to be too far back, because once you kill the boss, a patrol will spawn behind them a little ways, I believe at the entrance to the room behind the boss, back here. Or the room before the boss, I should say. So you'll want them to stay relatively close, otherwise they risk pulling the patrol, and if they die, it's a long run back. And I don't have a res on a mage, but other people might, who knows, if they have, jumper cables, or if they have somebody in the group who can res, but just be careful with that. Then, after each section, I drink and regather everything, and then continue on to the next portion. Here, unfortunately, is where they start to pull a couple mobs because they're getting a little too close to me. That's okay. It just slows things down a tiny bit. I'm not pressed at all. They basically all survive. There's something that happens at the end that I'll show. I wanted to keep it in, but they basically all survive, and it's relatively simple. As long as they're not getting too close and staying within your radius, like during the pull process, you're going to be largely fine as long as they're not getting killed by the patrols. So here, again, I keep trying to drink, get back to full mana. You want full health and full mana for this portion for sure, because this is one of the more difficult parts, largely because of the mechanic of the mobs in the next room. So I'm pulling everything here all the way to the next boss, and then going to be killing the boss separately. The way it happens here, just so you guys are aware, the boss isn't in the middle of the room, so I don't actually pull him with the group. If the boss is there, I pull him with the group. It just depends on where he happens to be patrolling at the time. I pull to the left here just to see if the rare spawn is there and get as many of the mobs as possible. But yeah, just so you're aware, I don't kill the boss in this pull. I kill everybody, and then I kill the boss, but you can absolutely kill the boss at the same time. It's really not that difficult. Occasionally, I run into mana issues, but that's where I have my gems, and then I'm usually totally fine. I'm not at risk of dying, it's annoying being out of mana. Now here, this is where the mechanic can get a little bit annoying. So this room here, these goblins have a throw mechanic that actually stuns you temporarily, and it's really annoying. So what I do is I do a rank 1 arcane explosion. If they hit me, then I blink, which undoes the stun, although I accidentally missed that mob in the corner. Continue on, I Frost Nova to get them separate from me, because if I get stunned, I don't want to keep getting hit over and over by the big group. Fire Blast the last one, pull them all together, and it's just a simple, spank them with the Cone of Cold, max rank arcane explosions. Kill them very easily, and there's really not a problem. Where you only run into an issue is if you do get knocked down and they're all on top of you at once. Due to the stun, unless you ice block, they're likely going to do some serious damage to you, which is kind of annoying. Here, I didn't have to worry about it. Went ahead and evocated because I knew the boss would be coming down any second with the guys looting. I was surprised it took him this long to aggro, actually, but kill him separately. You know, Frostbolt, Fire Blast, Cone of Cold, that type of thing to kill the boss really quickly. Be aware, for those who maybe don't know Deadmines very well, there's a secondary boss here that spawns. Nothing you can do to speed up this process. You just have to wait for him to die, and then the next one spawns and kill him really quick. There's no challenging mechanics about Sneed or Sneed Shredder at all. This boss is super easy. Okay, same thing here. Gonna regen. Just be aware that once another boss is dead, another patrol is going to be spawning behind, a ways back, kind of towards the beginning of this hallway back here, so you have plenty of time. Also note, in this section here, I'm just pulling to the top of the lava room. There are a couple of the goblins in this section as well. I got lucky there that one of my party members actually pulled that goblin, so he stunned the party member instead of me, but there I got stunned. You only have to contend with a couple of them, so it's really not that big of a deal, and they don't always hit. It really just depends. It's RNG based, but not challenging at all here. I just like to clear because the next portion is a little bit more difficult depending on how it plays out. So here, I like to notify my party members to stay up top because I'm going to be pulling the entire room, and it can get sketchy at times. This is the part that I've experimented with the most and where I've come the closest to death. And so if you do have to ice block and they're in combat, all of the mobs will shift to them and go wreck them. But if they stay up here, they're totally fine. So the way that I do this is essentially I'm going to target one of the front mobs here right at the top. I'm going to counterspell them, I'm going to jump down, and I'm going to blink before I hit the ground. That's pulling all of the mobs down the ramp, and then I just simply rank 1 Arcane Explosion to pull all the mobs. I try to utilize the machine in the center of the room for line of sight purposes to try to pull the mobs closer to me because there are ranged mobs here, which is kind of what makes it a little bit more annoying. And I can sometimes get them in a really good spot so I can do a nice little shatter with a Flame Strike and a Cone of Cold. Wasn't able to do that here, but again, you see my health doesn't even get below 60%. I'm not at risk of dying here at all. And then I check up the ramp to see if any mobs were missed. Usually they all pull. Here they didn't. So I missed one mob, had to clean him up real quick. But again, this part, super simple, very straightforward. Here, I'm going to regenerate and then move on. This next section is also very easy. The one thing that I want to note here in this section is you have to collect the gunpowder, or I can't remember, I think it's gunpowder, in order to continue on. You have to shoot the cannon to break open the door. I always try to be the one that gets the gunpowder, simply because that way I can control when the door opens. And so the way that you can do that is you can actually pull everybody to the gunpowder, so you can continue on to the cannon and then run back into the room here. I didn't do it that way just simply because I didn't think it's not that important. It's okay if your teammates grab the gunpowder, but I just typically like to be the one that does if I'm able to. So I kill the mobs real quick, I go and I grab it. That way I can control it. For some reason, people have a tendency to grab it and then just immediately go shoot the cannon, which then basically starts the next encounter if your party members are anywhere nearby. So this way, I have it, a mob spawns, make sure you kill them, protect your party members. I have it so I can fully regenerate my shield, my health, my mana, and before I continue on. Here, you're going to do something very simple. When you shoot the cannon, mobs are going to rush towards you. You're going to pull those mobs, but also there are two goblins to the right of the door when you walk through that you're going to want to pull. I use Counterspell and a rank 1 Fire Blast to pull them. Honestly, anything that you have to pull them works. It's really not that big of a deal. You're probably not going to run into too many mana issues along this portion. But here I pull Counterspell 1, Fire Blast the other, and I continue on using rank 1 Arcane Explosions. I'm going to pull all the way to the next boss and pull the boss all at once. You're going to see how I handle it. It's very simple. Basically, I'm just going to use Frost Nova to gather them up. Then I'm going to Flame Strike and Blizzard. I could Shatter, but I just decided to do Fire Blast and Blizzard in this case, and knock them down really quickly. The boss here is super easy. So Frost Nova, move back a little bit. Re-shield is important so it doesn't knock back your spells at all. Flame Strike and Blizzard here to knock them down super quick. Then Smite's easy, just a Fire Blasting and Cone of Colding until he's dead. Very simple. You have the stun that you have to contend with, but you're not going to die here. Unless you are just at 1% health before this fight, you are not going to die here. It's super easy. Very, very simple to get through this fight. The only thing to note here, and I want to pause real quick, if you're like me and you like boosting a secondary account, I'm not doing it here. I use the secondary account and I follow one of the other, I have it on follow for one of the other party members, so I don't have to really worry about the account. If they're following somebody and the stun happens, it's going to undo the follow, so you just have to refollow, otherwise your character is going to get stuck. Just a notice about that, be careful if you are running through. This is the pull where you're probably most likely to die if you're not careful. If you are careful, you're going to be totally fine. I advise my party members to stay right here because I'm going to be pulling everything on the ship up to VC, up to Van Cleef, killing them all in that room together. But it's important how you do this because you don't want to get hit too much, and you want to kind of spread out your ice barriers and your frost novas. So I'm going to be a little bit specific here. What you're going to do first is you're going to run over to the right, you're going to target a mob pretty far back, you're going to counterspell, and then I rank 1 Arcane Explosion just to make sure everything in between is pulled. Sometimes mobs don't social very well. Here I'm going to continue on, and you're basically going to want to blink on cooldown for the most part, using rank 1 Arcane Explosions to pull, and then max rank if you do get a clear cast. Blinking on ahead, rank 1 Arcane Explosions, jump around the cannon here, not a terribly challenging jump to make. And then here, I'm going to target the 2 mobs, the further mob, down on the bottom, counterspell, and then rank 1 Arcane Explosion to make sure I get him. You're going to want to Frost Nova right there when you get to that top platform. There's a lot of mobs right behind you here, and they're going to be hitting down your shield or your health very quickly if they get close. So I do a rank 1 Frost Nova here to try to get as much distance between me and the mobs as possible, and then I continue onwards. I reapply my shield, continue pulling, gonna blink here, continue pulling this last little bit, and I happen to be at full health and mana for this, which is perfect. Pull this last group, jump into the corner here, and then I'm gonna ice block. This is gonna allow all the mobs to gather around me, which is what I want, especially the ones who are in the Frost Nova. If you have any cooldown trinkets that increase your spell power, you can use them here. You're gonna Frost Nova, you're gonna Cone of Cold, and you're just gonna spam your Arcane Explosion. Max rank Arcane Explosion over and over until they're dead. Very, very easy kills, and you shouldn't get too close to death if you time everything right. Unfortunately, a couple mobs happened to be in combat with one of the level 10s, so this took a little bit longer here. They did end up pulling down to my other party members, and they killed one. I couldn't find where the last one was, and then I finally saw him, so I had to jump down and go rescue my party members. If your party members actually stay down there where Mr. Smite is, you're not going to have a problem with this, but unfortunately they didn't here, so yeah. I had to come back and get them, and the one guy did die, but they got almost all of the experience. Total count here was 207 mobs. It took me 13 minutes. Again, that includes a little bit at the beginning to set things up, as well as the party members pulling more. So it took a little bit longer than normal. Typically, again, 11, maybe 12 minutes, a little over 12 minutes is kind of the range that I'm typically at, which is perfect for hitting lockouts and getting people fast levels. The only other thing that I want to mention really quickly is when it comes to level composition. So if you are looking to boost a secondary account, or you're looking to boost a guild member or something like that specifically, you want to be careful. So you want extra members in the party. You want a full party if possible, but you want to have them as low as possible. So you'll notice in this case, I had a level 20, a 14, and 2 11s. This is a really good level combo because it's getting the average level down to 23. The closer the average level is to the mobs themselves, the better the experience for all the party members. So you do want as many members as you can. You want a full party if you can. And let's say that you're there specifically for loot, then you can just bring one person. And you want to try to avoid higher levels where possible. So I have had groups where I had to deny somebody because there was like a couple level 24s that were wanting to get down on a boost, and I'm like, you're gonna really kill my experience if you get in here. But if you have like 4 level 10s in the group, they're gonna be leveling up very, very fast. So yeah, that's really the last thing to hit here. You're gonna run out the back of the dungeon, and then you're just gonna run back to Moonbrook, reset, and restart. Nothing terrible. Nothing terribly challenging at all about running out and running back to the entrance. That should be pretty straightforward, although if you have questions, happy to answer them. If you have questions about the run at all, be sure to comment down below. I don't think there will be that many questions, but if you do, feel free to shoot them down in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe, and as always, have a nice day.